Anyway, welcome to Hannity, and we are back with our live audience. Right here in studio, Texas Senator Ted Cruz will be here in a moment. Now, today he helped educate AOC on the sordid history of the Democratic Party. Also, Chairman Jim Jordan and Chairman James Comer, they will be joining us with the very latest on their investigations into Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, the deep state that is protecting them, an FBI that has been politicized, and a DOJ weaponized. Also tonight, shocking new images from a woke New York City college professor. Look at this, holding a machete to the neck of a New York Post reporter. That reporter will tell the whole story right here coming up later in the show. But first, ready or not, 2024 is heating up. As of right now, former President Trump has a wide lead in the Republican primary. But tomorrow, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is expected to officially throw his hat into the ring during a live event on Twitter with Elon Musk. Already, there is a diverse field of qualified, interesting candidates running in the Republican primary. By the way, even Chris Christie is apparently... I think he left office with like a 15% approval rating. He's apparently flirting with another run. He wants to be the I hate Donald Trump every second, every minute, every hour of every day candidate and dedicate his entire campaign to trashing all things Donald Trump all the time. Do you really think that is the best use of your time, Chris? Which now brings us to an important question to you, our viewers at home, here in studio. All right, so now we have all these candidates running. Do you want yours truly to interview and give equal time to every GOP candidate? Do you want them to come on radio and TV? Do you want to hear from the entire field? Yes, no? Okay. Just go to Hannity.com. You can let me know. We have a poll going on right now. We'll give you an update on where the numbers are at the end of the show. Mark my words, this will be a primary full of ups and downs. And meanwhile, Democrats are already circling the wagons around their 80-year-old corpse, Joe Biden. Even though many have really serious doubts about his physical fitness, mental ability, cognitive ability. Even Hillary Clinton voiced concerns about Biden's age. But Joe's obvious cognitive decline is not his only problem. Long story short, the far-left staffers that are running Biden's White House have done an awful job. If you look at every facet of American life, it is now worse under their idiotic policies, their extremism, starting with the border to the economy to energy, national security, law and order, infrastructure, you name it, it's worse. Even small things like passports and visas and permits, everything is a disaster. And so far, Biden can't even reach an agreement on the debt ceiling. And maybe that's because he refused to negotiate with Kevin McCarthy and disappeared for a whopping 97 days. Joe wouldn't even pick up the phone and call, and he wouldn't accept a call or an invitation from Speaker McCarthy. But don't expect Biden or the Democrats or their handlers in the media mob to take any responsibility for anything. Instead, they'll just smear, slander, besmirch Republicans like they always do. Now, get this. Today, over there at The View, that hard-hitting news show that it is, you had Joyless Behar literally trying to lecture Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and presidential candidate Tim Scott on racism. Really, this ought to be interesting. Take a look.
And he's one of these guys who, you know, he's like Clarence Thomas, black Republican who believes in pulling yourself by your bootstraps, rather than, to me, understanding the systemic racism that African Americans face in this country and other minorities. He doesn't get it, neither does Clarence.
Right.
And that's why they're Republicans.
Yeah. I know.
All right, Joyless Behar once proudly posed, quote, blackface as an African woman. Now, needless to say, it's pretty weird that she is now berating two African-American men on the topic of racism. Now, let's see, Clarence Thomas, you need to read his book, My Grandfather's Son. It's a great book. He grew up in the Jim Crow era, in the Deep South, but Joyless thinks that she knows better than Clarence Thomas. Tim Scott also had a tough upbringing, also wrote a great book about himself, his life, his background, and he overcame so much to achieve his dreams, only to be, what, dismissed and slandered by a bunch of ignoramuses over at The View? Now, everything is woke in this country, and everything's PC in the country, except if you are African American and you are a conservative. Then it's open, free game. You can say anything you want and get away with it. No penalties, no calls for firing, no cancellations, no boycotts. In reality, Democrats have a terrible track record when it comes to race and equality and the rights of human beings. For example, this morning, Congresswoman AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez asked Senator Ted Cruz to explain the history of the Democratic Party. Cruz responded, quote, "First, it was the Democratic Party that founded the KKK. It was the Democratic Party that wrote Jim Crow laws. Then the Democratic Party was the one that filibustered the Civil Rights Act. Add to this, our current president, Joe Biden, he was working to stop the integration of public schools because he didn't want them to become, quote, racial jungles." Those were Joe Biden's words, and he partnered with the former Grand Poobah KKK Bird. As Cruz also pointed out today, Biden also gave that passionate eulogy at the former exalted Cyclops of the Klan, Robert KKK Byrd, his mentor, as he called him at the time. And now Democrats are attempting to use race. What a shocker. They do it every 2 years, every 4 years, as a divisive, semi-Marxist political stunt, dividing this country, black versus white, old versus young, rich versus poor, just divide any way they can, generalizing certain races as perpetual victims, others as evil oppressors. Now, here's South Carolina Senator and presidential candidate, Tim Scott. Take a look.
I do think this is a difference in how we communicate. There's no question that my life disproves the lies of the radical left. Their culture of victimhood is eating away at the soul of America. I understand brokenness. I understand having low esteem. I understand nearly failing out of school. But I also understand that we do not live in a nation of grievance. We live in a nation of greatness.
Now, I want to compare that thoughtful, intelligent message to Joe Biden's pitch to African-American voters. Take a look. You decide.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
There's your president. Anyway, so Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, are you proud of that? Are you proud that your president, the guy that you look up to, that leads your party, tried to stop the integration of public schools? He didn't want them to become, in his words, racial jungles. Do you endorse that message? Or do you think that maybe it's time for the Democratic Party to finally move away from its racist tendencies and candidates who once supported segregation and praised as their mentors former Klansmen? Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.